An invitation, a weekend pack, and a plane ticket was all it took for me to travel to Calubian, Leyte, where I was to attend the St. Therese and the La Naval Fluvial Parade. I bid Manila life a momentary farewell, and I took an early flight to Tacloban City, my entry point to the province. It was my first time traveling alone. No family, no friends, just a pass to the unfamiliar. Come and join me for this episode of Gone for the Weekend. The sun was making its way above Tacloban City when I arrived. After a bit of scuffle at the Romualdez airport, I was soon on my way to Calubian. But the early morning rush of traveling took its toll, and I found myself hungry for some local cuisine. Hidden in a small house by the sea are seafood restaurants like Yolanda's. Their home-style cooking, made with only the freshest first catch, is a must-try. Not having much time to waste, I took a 2-hour drive to Calubian, stopping for nothing else to make it to the first day of this weekend-long celebration. I was in for one bumpy ride, but this, at least, gave me time to absorb the flavor of the province. Most of the back roads of the Philippines are virtually the same. Rice and coconut husks were lined up neatly to dry on the pavement. But in Leyte, it's the strong aroma of coconut that fills the air. I finally arrived at Calubian. I was welcomed by my gracious hosts, Cecilia Junya and Antero Junya. We made our way up to my room for the weekend, and I felt like an honored guest getting the only air-conditioned room. And with the heat upon us, it was a welcomed offer. After settling in, I walked to Calubian Port to watch the beginning of the festivities. Looking around, I saw some of the local boatmen escaping the heat inside the town hall. I walked to the port and was surprised to see a bitter melon vine.
Okay, this is kind of stupid, but it's actually the first time I've ever seen this is ampalaya. This is what? This is an ampalaya, no? An ampalaya vine ever. And these things just grow here. This is like a staple in Filipino diet, and this just grows here.
I found out eventually that some of the fruits and vegetables are produced in backyard gardens all over Calubian. Docked along the port were boats ready for the parade. With the float judging soon at hand, participants made the final adjustments to their boats. Why, even the commanding facade of the naval ship that was to lead the procession seemed to soften when adored with bouquets. The parade was both a joyful and spiritual occasion for the people of Calubian and Naval. It marked the beginning of a weekend-long celebration of two feast days that were strung together. the feast day of Saint Therese of the Child Jesus in Calubian, and the feast day of La Naval in the nearby island of Biliran. Saint Therese, the patron saint of pilots, and La Naval, the patron saint of seafarers, seemed to grace the festivities with fair weather, as the sky was clear and the waves were calm during the entire event. The ships made their way from the port of Calubian to the port of Naval, parading the saints around the sea. The Saint Therese Shrine was built atop a hill and the area stretched for several hectares. To get up to the shrine, I had to climb about 93 steep steps, but it was certainly worth it, as the view from the top was breathtaking. These figures set in stone gave the place a sense of serenity. Scattered over these rolling hills are the lifelike statues of Jesus Christ and the ways of the cross. These figures set in stone gave the place a sense of serenity. In the following days, the celebration of the feast day of Saint Therese was all about dancing and games. Performers from neighboring Cebu impressed the audience with their traditional dances. Ladies in flowing pink and red Filipinianas danced the lapay, a traditional rural dance. Sayaw sa Hari, or Dance for the King, had everybody moving. But it was the Paseo de Iloilo, a love triangle dance, that was the audience favorite. They danced the whole day away, keeping spirits high. Out in the field, able-bodied contenders vied to be the toughest, the quickest, and the strongest. For any new traveler such as myself, rest was surely worth its weight in gold. No celebration would be complete without a feast, the largest I have ever been part of. Why, just a stone's throw away from where I stayed, I could smell the savory aroma of roast pig wafting through my window.
Baka pwede makitikim.
Oo, sige.
Sige. Saan ako pwedeng kumurot?
Yan, pili ka lang.
Pili lang. Sige, tara. Ooh! Hindi ko maano. Kuha tayo. Ooh, yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. Oh, good. If we ever go here, I'm gonna have to try the lechon.
All in all, 661 pounds of pork and more than 200 pounds of fish and chicken were served for that occasion. I wanted to learn more about Calubian and the Naval, so I set out on a trip around the straits. The way to travel in Calubian is usually by tricycle. It's also the best way to see the sights. I flagged one down to show me around Calubian. He first brought me to the church. Through the church's ornate wooden doors is a lavish hall with its polished marble floor and wide wooden pews. Its high ceilings and long aisles made the church seem airy and spacious, while the painted windows and ornate chandeliers bring in radiance. Images of saints could be found all over its grounds. There was almost an eerie, lifelike quality about them. Early in the day, churchgoers can already be found paying homage inside. The driver suggested that I visit Calubian National Vocational School. The school also doubles as a place for large groups to stay. Their facilities include workshops, training facilities, a greenhouse, tennis courts, and a basketball court.
This is how real people do it. Look at the skill and artistry of getting that water right smack into that small container.
While there, I decided to take my Calubian experience to another degree. All over Calubian, you can find people filling up their water containers from deep wells. Though that was not the first time I used a deep well, I must admit I hadn't really done a lot of this. Thereupon, a local came up and showed me how to do it right. It was fun, but it was also hard work. After the long trip around Calubian, I checked out lunch.
Mixed vegetables. All sorts of things you can eat here, really. This is my favorite. Munggo. Yeah. Munggo in coconut. Nothing beats home-cooked food here. And each house has their own unique flavor and unique signature dish. In these things, they have nothing in them right now, but they put in rice. That's luluto niya. They put in bigas. They put in uncooked rice, and then they cook it in here after. And so there's this pandan flavor, this very, very fragrant flavor. It's one of my favorites, really.
These local dishes
Chili.
are perfect for a hot day. Calubian's name means an abundance of coconut. I took an early boat ride from Calubian to Naval, the capital of Biliran province. The ride took about 20 to 30 minutes. From here, I got to see Calubian's endless forests of coconut trees. When I arrived, the sight of the flea market was the first to greet me.
I just came from Calubian and I took a small pump boat to get to here, which is the Biliran province here in Naval. And I'm here to check out their festivities, the Lanaval Festival, just to take a little breather from Calubian. So I'm gonna check out, but first I'm gonna check out what's in store in the morning shops.
A flea market junkie, I sampled some of the stalls that were found by the dock. They have everything from umbrellas to knives and everything in between.
You have everything you need here, from hangers to umbrellas to cotton buds. Everything you probably need in the morning. A little bit of jewelry. Cool.
From across the market, they sold fresh fruit, rice, salted fish, and all sorts of things used by Noveleños. Walking deeper inside, I found their meat market. Customers jostled to get their best cuts, probably in preparation for the feast day of La Naval. Further within the market were stalls that sold fresh fish, so fresh in fact that some of them had just been loaded off the fishing boats just minutes ago. I saw racks of fish being dried, which I had never seen before. Outside the market there was a small gathering. At the center of this was a salesman selling what was apparently snake venom and tree sap oil. Different from the drugstores I was used to, the locals seemed to rely on these traditional medicines to cure common ailments, such as stomach pains and muscle pains. Not far from where I was, a curious show was being held. Even under the blistering heat of the morning sun, a large crowd gathered around to watch. Taking my adventure outside the city, I came to understand where Biliran had found its name. Boro Biliran, as it used to be called, was once known for its lush, green, fertile plains. Up the trail toward Tinago Falls, I got to see a forest of abaca, a tree similar to the banana tree. 18 kilometers from Naval is the Tinago waterfall.
We are in Tinago Falls, the newest attraction here in Biliran province. Now, it's called Tinago, which means hidden, probably because you can't really see it from here, but it's way inside the rock formations. And the only way you can see it is if you climb onto those rocks over there and take a peek. But it's wonderful, and it carries with it one of the clearest and sweetest waters popular here in Biliran province.
Like a child, I was brimming with excitement at seeing a waterfall up close for the first time. Add sweet fresh coconut juice, cooled by the river, and I was in absolute heaven. On my way back, I took a quick stop at Biliran Garden Resort for lunch. The food was wonderful. It was a good place to get some R&R. On my way back, I saw a crowd of people by the road. At the center was a cockfighting ring. Cockfighting, a taboo in Western culture, is a common recreational activity in Southeast Asia. I left early the next day and bid Calubian goodbye. I was soon on my way home just as quick as I arrived.
Babalik.
Aba!
An hour and a half drive from Calubian will bring you to this century-old home. While there, I tried some of the local sweets being sold. I heard they sold one of the best roscas, butter cookies, and pastillas de leche in town, if not the whole of Leyte. Lumen, the owner of this pastry shop, showed me how to make these classic delicacies. But it was not the food that caught my attention. It was the interesting housemates that are living with Lumen. Swifts have made their home in Lumen's dining hall. These small black birds built probably 100 nests throughout the ceiling.
Now these swifts come here at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and leave at around 9 in the morning the next day. And they've taken rest in this place.
After a quick look around and a bit of shopping, I was soon on my way again. I went to a town called Tolosa to visit the monument of the last scout, Valeriano Abello. Scout Abello is known to the world as the only scout hero of World War II. His was a story about courage and cunning. With mere semaphore flag signals, he was able to guide the American forces safely along the straits, saving many lives and helping liberate Leyte from the Japanese. Along the way, I made a stop at MacArthur Park. This was the site where all of Scout Abello's hard work came to fruition. How he changed history by helping General Douglas MacArthur and the rest of the American troops land safely on Philippine shores. These tall metal figures glisten under the sun, a stark reminder of triumph over adversity. Before settling back to Tacloban, I made one final detour. A drive across the San Juanico Bridge, the longest bridge in the Philippines. It stretches about 2 kilometers, connecting the provinces of Leyte and Samar. I finally make my way to Tacloban, and with a couple of more hours left to spare, I walk the city streets looking for a final adventure. Along this busy city are vendors selling Tacloban's most popular desserts. The binagol, made from shredded taro root and coconut milk, and moron, made with sticky rice and chocolate. Aside from my binagol, I know I will take home with me the memory of my first journey in Leyte. Sometimes, all you need is to let go and visit a place you've never been to, and find new adventures all on your own, even just for a weekend.